All right. Hopefully, this is going to be episode 1 of the Dad Bod Squad pod. Find a better name for it. One of the last two has to come out of it. I feel like it should
Yeah,
be squad because technically it'd be the Dad Bod pod from
yeah.
of the
Dad Bod
squad.
Pod
And
rolls off the tongue a little
I
better.
forget what I made the logo on YouTube as, so whichever one I made it for, because I'm not making another logo.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into it. Um, Introduce yourself.
I'm Matthew
And I'm Andrew.
Coker.
Yep. Do you want to start with one of your points, or we can jump in with one of mine?
Yours.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and start with MLB. I'm a big baseball guy, obviously. Um, Opening day baseball. I'm gonna get some stuff off my chest about MLB right here. Because you're a guy that doesn't watch many American sports. Am I right on that? You mainly only watch soccer, British soccer.
Yeah.
Okay. My problem with the MLB is that every season I go, oh, I'm gonna watch MLB, and I do the same thing with hockey. And I've mentioned this a few times, but I don't know the schedules. And it's especially bad in hockey and basketball because they play like 2 or 3 times a week. Whereas baseball, they basically play 5 or 6 out of 7 days. But the reason I think the NFL is so popular is because everyone knows when the NFL's on. Everyone knows when college football's on. Right now, the Cardinals played today, and I couldn't tell you the next time they play. Easily. I mean, obviously, I can look at the schedule and I have it on ESPN, but I can't easily determine it. And I think that's what's wrong with baseball. And so I was getting into it, and I was thinking about it earlier today. And would you be more apt to watch baseball, hockey, basketball, the American sports, if you knew when they were on? Like, if it was a 1 day a week or 2 days a week, like even 3 days, but you know when it was on, or would you still be kind of how about it?
Yeah, I feel like since baseball, they do triple headers, obviously, over 3 days. Um, I guess it just doesn't seem like the games mean as much because there is such a vast quantity of them.
That's fair. Okay. See,
So if it was like once a week, then I don't know, maybe I'd watch it because
so it'd be more of like so you'd be more interested in like almost like a college baseball type thing where they don't play as many games at all. They still play them pretty frequently, I think, but there's not as many games.
yeah,
Uh, See, because
it would be hard for anybody to watch 5 baseball games a week
exactly.
just for your team.
Yeah, yeah, and that gets to be my problem with it is they keep wanting to shorten the game lengths, and I don't think it's that matters. I think they need to shorten the season, but they're not gonna have the money, so they'll never do it. But like college baseball, I've actually watched some college. Normally, I don't watch college baseball because it's not on. But I found YouTube highlights one time, and I watched it because there's a few guys I played against in high school that play now at college level, and they're actually playing. And so I was watching the highlights, and now I keep getting the highlights popped up in my suggestions on YouTube. And college baseball is actually kind of fun. They don't play a lot. They mainly just play, obviously because of COVID stuff. They're mainly just playing conference games. It seems like, but it's actually pretty fun to
Yeah.
watch. I might become a big college baseball guy. Except I'm pretty sure Mizzou's shit. So that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
So
So, yeah,
we
I don't really have points if I'm being honest.
we see you really prepared for this one. All right. I guess my you already know my second topic coming out of the ass is of course the NFL. Roger Goodell announcing that he wants to try to go full capacity in NFL stadiums in the upcoming season.
Great.
Yeah.
I love
Here's my thing about it is last season the NFL never limited it. The NFL told cities, "You control it. You control it." And
Mhm.
obviously, I don't think you pay attention to the NFL a lot. I know you don't. They are adding a 17th game to the season, so it's a 16
Okay.
or 17 games coming up soon. I don't know if it's this season or next season. I haven't, but everyone's making a big deal about it. It's pretty obvious. I mean, everything's driven by revenue.
Yeah.
So I wasn't surprised when the NFL when Goodell goes, "Oh yeah, plan is to have all the fans in." My big thing is though is that I don't think it's as big a news as what everyone was because when I saw it, it's like, oh, a bunch of people reacting. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I mean, the Texas Rangers, they had their first game today. You remember when I talked about them, the Texas Rangers were going to be fully open for opening day weekend.
Hmm.
I wonder how their game went today, opening day. Because, I mean, NFL doesn't start till what, August?
Yeah, it's not for a while.
By the time that happens, MLB is going to be almost done with their season. And if people like the Rangers, I doubt they're the only ones going to be doing it.
So is it because Texas
Yes, yeah,
rules are different?
100%. And I think
Okay.
I'm not sure if oh, fuck. I'm not sure if Houston Astros are doing it, which is the other team in Texas. Um,
Yeah.
but it might be by city in Texas. I really haven't looked into it, but I am excited for more full stuff because so I was signing up for classes the other day, or I have to yeah I was signing up for classes the other day, and even though I took 3 online and 2 in classes, I had the option to take them all in person and
Yeah.
I cannot focus for any amount of time at all, which is
So you're going with the option of online because you don't want to focus on a lecture for an hour or hour and a half?
yes and no. So one of the online classes was either take environmental science, no, not meteorology or finance in person. They were at the same time on the same day. I obviously chose finance.
Yeah.
You know, it's the one that's gonna matter for my degree. And then science, it's the one class Noah passed in college. So I I figured it can't be that hard. So I might as well take it online. My sister
Yeah.
was in it. So
Definitely those elective classes, you can just choose to go online because they're easier, and you don't really need them for your future.
and that's what I was thinking. And then my other ones I have information systems, which the times so the information systems, the time it was gonna be was like I think it was like 4:20 to 5:40 or something like that. Where it was
Yeah,
like
that's very inconvenient.
exactly. So the other class I'm taking finance in person is from that time, but it's on Tuesdays and Thursdays when my other one is. So when I'm doing work, I just straight, okay, I don't need to work Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's easy enough. The
Yeah,
problem with the map means I couldn't work nights Monday through Thursday, which does become an issue
yeah,
because I am not working mornings consistently. And do I really want to work 3 shifts a week, 3, 4 shifts a week? No, not really. I like what I'm doing. So,
yeah. Mornings are definitely not worth it.
and then the other one I took online is career development. It's a management class. It's an elective. It should be easy enough to where I don't need to worry about it. My hair is standing up with this thing. So I just took that online, and then I thought, yeah. So ironically enough, both classes that are in person are finance classes. I have 2 of them.
I don't know. Since I'm transferring, I don't know if I'm gonna have that much leeway of what classes I get to take.
See, I think you'd be surprised. I think you'll have more leeway than I will
Really?
because the way I have to do it is so technically after starting next semester, I have 4 more semesters,
Yeah,
and I have to check off a lot of boxes still. Like I shouldn't say a lot. I have to check off boxes still. And there is some classes once you get higher up that it's not like
they're
you're
only
yeah, there's only like 2 of them and some of them there's
yeah,
only spring, some of them's only fall. I really need to look into that. I kind of pushed it on the side. Probably meeting with an advisor would be a good move instead of just, talking to my sister about it. But
yeah,
um yeah, so it was like, 2 in persons, same day. I could just keep block it off like that. It wouldn't be bad. And then,
yeah. That's a good
it means I have 2 off
about
days,
it
and I'll have time in between the classes. Mhm.
because it's from what time does your first one end?
9:40 to 11.
Okay, yeah. So you got a good chunk of time between classes.
Yeah, and that's my thing. Like I'll I'll have time to go to either go somewhere and eat or go home. Like I did it for back when before COVID and we had classes. I did like that. I think it was my first semester I did one like that, and I might have done more like that. That I had like a 4 hour gap. I know I've had at least two. I think like that where I had a decent gap where I'd go home and like do stuff. And so that'll probably be my productive days because I'll have time to do it, but I won't have enough time to goof off. So speaking of having time to goof off, while I was home today before my midterm, I finished Ted Lasso.
Mm,
Not gonna spoil it, obviously, because I want you to watch it.
yeah.
But
And then we can talk about it on here.
exactly, that is. I mean, so up next on shows, I do have The Mandalorian. I have it. I have it bookmarked. It's my nearest bookmark to the right, which is always the ones I start on. I have that in my footbin squad that I'm saving until I have the
You
coins.
have you watched season 1 of The
I
Mandalorian?
have not,
Oh,
so
okay.
I
Yeah.
do need to watch both season one and season two. But
I've watched season 1, but it was when it came out, so that was a while ago.
yeah, that was like what, a year ago, a year and a half ago. Was
Yeah.
it was that
So I
during
don't
COVID? I think it was because I think it came out with Disney Plus. I think that was the big start, the kickstart. I think they came out
yeah,
together.
it came out with Disney Plus, so
Just
probably
been about a year.
the beginning of COVID.
Yeah, time flies. And then
Uh,
this was I wasn't gonna bring it on the podcast, but I still have it bookmarked because I was. I don't know if you ever do this with your soccer stuff, but occasionally for baseball, I just kind of scroll around some of our old baseball stuff, just
mhm.
reminisce. I was looking at so freshman year, I didn't play a lot. Um, we had a ton of seniors, and it's not like I was good. I looked at our sophomore year. We were worse than I remember. I'm gonna read you off.
For high
Yeah,
school?
yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay.
High school baseball. We started off the season, lost 13-3, 16 to nothing, 22 to nothing, 13 nothing, 18 to 1, 12 to 2, 17 nothing, 10 nothing, 14 nothing, 16 nothing, 16 to 2, 13 nothing, 10 nothing, 26 nothing, 14 nothing, 8 to 1. It took that long to not get mercy ruled.
Holy.
I do not remember it being that bad. Um, I remember only having two wins. It would be Columbia and Woodville. That was it. And I remember making jokes about, oh, you 5 innings again? Yep, you know it.
And Woodville's a 1A school. They're
Nah, they're
tiny.
bigger than 1A. I think they're 2A.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Either way, yeah. So it took us a while to get into the sixth inning, and then I was looking. I thought,
See,
well, is it some? And then I remembered. So sophomore year, our first home game was against Athens.
mm,
Yeah, I forgot. I thought we only played Athens my senior year. Athens is one of those teams like Ardmore used to be in our area that they were always good, always, no matter how many people they lost. And so I was looking at, it, and then I remember I said, "Oh yeah," I don't know why, but Coach McKinnon, who I've very outspoken about, he thought he had me start against him, which I get I threw really slow, so it might have tipped him off. But if I
yeah.
do, I was starting to remember the game. That was a game I completely forgot about. I was starting to remember the game. I think I did decent the first inning, gave up like 2 or 3 runs, and then the second inning I gave up like one or two, and then the third inning I got shelled. And I want to say I gave up close to like 9 to 10 of the 13 runs, and then they brought in I forget who they brought in. And at that point, it was like done because we were like hanging in there. I was like, oh man, it's like it was like I think it was the fourth inning. I think the fourth inning I finally got rocked. I think the first inning I might have got out with a game of like 1 run, and then the next two I gave up like 2 or 3, and then the fourth inning I think I
Mm,
drilled. Um, but we ended up losing 13-0 at the game. But hey, I'm looking at it, it's like man, not too shabby compared to what the rest of the games we did.
yeah, so my question is, obviously, if anybody's listening that doesn't know who we are,
Mm.
went to a small private school, and our soccer team was good because a lot of the people that went to the Catholic school played club soccer. My question is, why didn't more people that played travel ball go to our high school?
Um, Here's part of what I think it is that in grade school and everything, we always had the soccer teams. Because you probably played like grade school soccer before you played club.
Yeah,
Okay. So I would imagine we just didn't have the people that were into it as much as baseball. Like the only baseball we had was rec ball, and if you wanted to do travel ball, I didn't do travel ball. I don't think I think a decent amount of them on the team now do, because I see them post about it, and I think that's probably why they're doing better. Um, but we had a thing where I would say I would call soccer a private school sport almost.
yeah,
Like there's a lot of cost in it. Baseball's not really. Like in Little League, you can really get away with buying a cheap bat, a cheap helmet, and a cheap glove and playing, you know? And since there's easy
yeah,
rec ball and everything, that's kind of what you could do. So I think we had a lot of our guys who played rec ball, and we never really played travel ball. We never really did anything outside of it. And we were all played other sports, I believe, or most of us played other sports in middle school to where we weren't really playing baseball a lot. And then obviously you have the problem where every year you're bringing in these new freshmen that unless they had brothers or something, you really didn't know. Unless you played like me, I played like basketball with some of the guys in at St. John's, but we never played
yeah,
baseball together. And so you have that, and then you're not used to the talent around us. And then it's just once you got outside of Huntsville, and even Huntsville had some good teams, but once you got outside of the city, a lot of the country guys, we always made jokes about it in baseball that they played football in the fall and baseball in the spring. They
yeah,
didn't go and play soccer. And so all the best athletes were in baseball. All of our best athletes weren't in baseball. All of our top like athletes were either in soccer, track.
track.
A lot of the guys did track just because they didn't want to do a sport, but they didn't not want to do a sport. So
Yeah,
during the spring, they would do it just to stay in shape for football because they didn't want to go to football workouts. And so baseball really had because I'm trying to outside of one or two guys, we really didn't have people playing other sports. And I don't want to say we didn't have the athletes then, but like, at a small school, if you guys are only playing one sport, it's probably because, you're not that good at the other ones, not because you don't want to.
yeah,
And so, because I'm thinking about this team, the team they have now, and obviously there's a lot of them I don't know, but the ones I do, I know for a fact, like most of them play basketball, a decent amount of them play football. I think a portion of them do travel baseball, and so they're probably more competitive. And then we also had the problem of our coach, my freshman sophomore year, being a clown and not knowing what he's doing. And so when you have not as used to talent and they're not coached right,
yeah.
by the time we had Coach Day come in and we actually had a good coach, it was too late because now we're getting stuff we should have had as freshmen forced upon us as juniors and seniors,
Yeah.
as well as we never had a JV. So it's not like when I was a freshman, I was getting game time. I have the stat sheet because he printed one out. I played in 13 games my freshman year. And a lot of them was coming into pitch in like the fifth inning when we're getting killed just to clean up the rest of the two outs and get us out of there. Just get us out of the game. Like I think I had like 8 at bats maybe my freshman year. So it's hard to, and when your coach isn't doing live pitching and practice with our pitchers, and he was just sitting there throwing, lobbing, in batting practice, you're really not getting the experience you need. So by the time we had a good coach, we were so far behind all the other programs, we were playing catch up.
And I guess since we always joke on the country schools, but they were badass at baseball.
Some of them, yeah.
So there was no reason for them to go to a private school just to play baseball because their county school that they were zoned for was already,
Yes and no. I mean, Madison. I'm sure Madison Academy and Randolph have their players. Like Garrett is at Randolph now. They have their player.
yeah,
And we might have some that come now. The problem is when you look at a team that's 7-24, or like my sophomore year, we were technically 3-23. Why are you going to transfer there, or why are you going to go there?
yeah,
Like for soccer, if you got, it's the whole exposure thing. If we were making the playoffs, we might have had more people come in, but we weren't. And so yeah, there
Yeah,
was there was no incentive to come. And then since we didn't have the middle school baseballs and everything, there was people that would leave and go other places from our middle schools and play baseball. I mean, I know of two or three guys off the top of my head that were in the feeder schools that didn't end up playing baseball for um, JP2. They went to like Madison Academy, Lindsay Lane out there in Athens. I think we had a guy go out to. Um, yeah, just in general, like there was no reason. And then, I mean, with our school doesn't really do like the scholarships, and it's like, do you really want to come spend the money at a Catholic school to play baseball?
yeah.
That sucks as well.
And the JV thing is big as well.
Yeah, the JV was probably my biggest. Like, I wish we could have done that because they all do JV now. They did JV when I was old, when I was a senior and stuff. But obviously, I wasn't gonna be on JV at that point. Um, because even if it's not the best competition, it still is better competition than riding the bench and getting put in the fifth inning for a random at bat, or getting put in left field and maybe not getting a ball. And the only other practice you're getting is against your below par varsity team. So,
Yeah.
like my freshman year, we had 10 seniors. We competed. I mean, we didn't do anything. Obviously, we didn't go to the playoffs, but we competed at least. Like we weren't getting blown out every game. It was a rare occasion to be mercy ruled. Um, the problem is when all 10 of them left, we only had like three people that played majority. So we basically were starting with a JV squad. My sophomore year was basically a glorified JV squad.
Yeah. And I guess you can transfer that over to when we graduated for soccer. We graduated 10 seniors as well. But they're not having any trouble this year because of uh of JV development.
Exactly, and it's we always made fun of JV basketball because JV basketball always sucked. But as
Yeah.
soon as they got to the varsity team, they were fine. And it was like, what is he doing? But it's like, kind of it is a JV thing where it's just like getting the experience and getting the playing time. That way, when you're actually on a varsity team, you're not sitting there shell shocked and not knowing what to do. So, I mean,
I can't remember if Adam and Jackson played on JV. I don't think they did.
I mean,
Because there was a few freshmen that came in that didn't even
and baseball's the
play.
same way. We had ours. We had three or four guys like Paul Garrett. There's probably a couple more, but we had a couple guys.
That even if you had a JV
Yeah, once
team,
we
you
had the
wouldn't.
JV and middle school team, we still called them up. I'm pretty sure mainly those two. Might have been Noodles. That's the other one I was forgetting of. Where
Yeah,
as freshmen they were playing, or at least you know, for the most part playing and being kind of in meaningful positions.
in the squad at least.
Yeah, like Noodles was a pitcher, and Paul. I want to say Paul when he was in eighth grade. No, seventh grade. He played a little bit, and then in eighth grade is when he took over at shortstop because Weaver and McMurray and all them graduated. Yeah. So in eighth grades when he took that was my senior year, our senior year, and that's when he took over at shortstop and we started playing him. We got Garrett in. So like obviously there's always gonna be exceptions to the rule, but even at like Madison Academy and stuff, the big schools, they still have their exceptions. Like they're stud people that come through. So
I wish when we were in middle school we could have gotten called up, but that wasn't a thing.
yeah, no, 100%. I would see. I mean, I wouldn't have been one who'd been called up. Don't get me wrong, but I wish we would have had a team because I got to a point in rec ball where I was one of the better players in the rec league. It,
Yeah.
anyone who actually focused on baseball was going to be one of the better players in the rec league. And obviously, I've always been someone who uses my mind more than my great genetics and physique to do stuff. So
Both of us
like
there.
yeah, knowing how to pitch players and knowing where to position myself and knowing how to work counts and stuff, I was going to be one of the better players in rec ball. And so I wish I would have had without having to do travel ball. I wish I would have had the experience of a middle school team that played other middle schools, like playing like a Buckhorn Middle, a Monrovia Middle, Discovery. Even if we would have got beat pretty good, I think it would have been a better for the sake of a program. I think it would have been better, and that's why I do think JP2's athletics are semi better. I really don't think it's that they're getting better athletes. I think they're keeping some of
Y-
them because there is the hey, I'm going to play varsity when I'm in 8th grade if I'm a good athlete, and so it keeps them there. And then by the time they enjoy the team, enjoy the coach, and have some friends, it's like, oh, I really don't want to, you know, I really don't want to go somewhere else because I already know what I'm getting here. Now,
Yeah,
obviously,
because
you're gonna have a few that still do it, but
even if it's 7th and 8th graders getting called up to JV, maybe not even varsity, they can make that connection.
with other guys, and it's like, man, I'd rather come in and play with them.
Yeah, because I already know the system.
And also the way college athletics work, if you're a good enough talent, you really don't need a good team. Now, obviously, if you want to go to Alabama or something, you probably need to be on a good team. But like to get to a point where you're going to like a D2, small D1, I really don't think you need to like be in a stud program. Like if you're a good
Yeah,
enough athlete with the
especially.
way camps work, that's kind of where I'm getting to with the way
Mhm.
camps work and travel teams outside of stuff work. If you're a good enough athlete, there's no real reason to go to like everyone go to Bob Jones and play. Like I mean, don't get me wrong, there's some people that do it, and but those are also the people going to Alabama to play. You know, going to
Yeah,
Auburn, going to Ole Miss to play sports.
like the way I guess you could say like showcases are where you can have college coaches watch you go to a certain camp. You really don't need to be on big school like Bob Jones
Yeah,
if you're a good player.
yeah. So I mean, I've said it, I want to coach. We've talked about this. I want to coach. Um, uh, Baseball or something when I get older. It didn't even have to be baseball. I mean, I know basketball pretty well. I know football pretty well. I never played football, but I would say I know football decently enough to probably coach it halfway. I could learn soccer. Obviously, I played soccer for 9 years. I watched plenty of soccer.
I mean, just from talking to you, you know enough to coach somebody,
Yeah,
especially at the youth level.
but I do love baseball. Like if if uh if Coach Day was still there, I might have tried to coach like even like a middle school thing. I wouldn't have wanted to coach varsity, obviously, but like coach like a JV type thing. I was just looking at kind of odd, funny news going around just to see if we could talk about anything else. Stolen Louis the Lookout mascot costume recovered in Tennessee. I don't know how someone steals a mascot costume, especially when the team's not playing.
Yeah.
But that is hilarious.
Well, it's on 28 minutes, so I guess we can
Yeah,
wrap up
I think I
this
think
position.
I think this was a decent first episode for not having anything scheduled already to talk about besides some sports that you don't even watch.
Yep.
Dragging out 29 minutes is quite an accomplishment.
I feel like that was solid.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead